Hello everyone and welcome back to Peaky Boardgamer. My name is Hector. Today I will teach you Iron Curtain. How many of you have not tried Twilight Struggle because of the game's complexity, because it takes too long, or even because it needs a couple of plays until you get familiarized with the cards and you know what you're doing in the game? Iron Curtain is Twilight Struggle Mini. It only needs 18 cards and some cubes, but gives you a great deal of the Twilight Struggle feeling. The game is only played with 2 players, and let's move to the table and see how the game is played. At first, place the Ideology Points track card at one side of the table between players. Then place the yellow marker in the middle space of the track. In the game, one player plays as the USSR and the other as the US. After players choose their side, they take the 24 cubes of their color, creating a personal supply. Find the starting card and place it in the middle of the table between the 2 players. As indicated on the card, place one red and one blue cube on top of the card from the player's supply. Shuffle the remaining cards, deal 5 cards to each player and place the remaining cards to the side. The game is now ready to start. A short pause in the video here to remind you that if you haven't done already, please subscribe to this channel. It costs nothing but really makes a difference to me and this channel. Also hit that bell button so you get notified of all our future videos. The game is played in 2 rounds. On every round, players alternate 4 turns playing one card from their hand onto the table. I will analyze this in just a bit. After both players have played 4 cards in the first round, they will be both left with one remaining card. These 2 cards will be set aside without looking for the aftermath phase when the game ends. In the second round, players are dealt 4 cards each and they will play all 4 cards. At the end of the second round, aftermath takes place and then final scoring. During the game, players will be gaining ideology points, pulling the scoring marker to their side. If at any time this marker reaches the far end of the track, that player will immediately win and the game will end. So who takes the first turn? In the first round, the USSR player chooses who will play the first card for the round. In the second round, the player who is behind in the ideology track chooses who goes first. If the scoring marker is in the middle, then again it's the USSR's call. Before we analyze a player's turn, let's familiarize with the cards of the game. Every card is a country and belongs to a region, easily distinguished by its color. This symbol here indicates how many cards are included in the deck belonging to this region. So for Asia, there are 3 cards. You can see in my graphics cards per region. Another important part of the card is the event in the bottom. And the flag in the top left corner of the card indicates which side is favored if the event is triggered. So this card has an event in favor of the US. There are 10 cards in favor of US and 8 cards in favor of USSR. Finally, we have these cube illustrations. These cubes indicate the command action value of the card. When it's your turn, you must select and play a card from your hand. This card can be any card, even if it's depicting the flag of your opponent. At this point, the only important part is the region of the card. That's because the card must be placed orthogonally adjacent to any other card on the table belonging to the same region. If this is not possible, or if it's the first card for that region, then the card can be placed anywhere. Important, there is no diagonal adjacency, so you could not play a card here, for example. After you play the card, the next step is to check if all cards of the specific region are on the table already. If yes, then the region will be immediately scored. If not, you continue with your turn. In our example, we played the first Asia card on the table, and from this illustration we know that there are 3 cards in the deck, so no scoring would happen. In this situation, however, I have just played the last Europe card, so my turn is interrupted by Europe scoring. When a region is scored, you check every card of this region and grant 1 ideology point to the player who dominates the card by having the most cubes. If there is a tie, no one scores the point. Important, these points are not yet awarded, but you continue calculating. In total, the US dominates 3 European countries, while the USSR dominates 2. Thus, the US is now awarded the difference, which is 1 ideology point. If any side has received points during this first step of scoring, then that side also receives the bonus ideology points of this region, which is indicated by this illustration. So the US gains another 3 points for a total of 4 points, and at this point you indicate this in the scoring track. After the region's scoring step, if there was any, you continue with your turn. If you play the card depicting your flag, then you can choose to either execute the card's event, which will be to your favor, or forfeit the event and use the card for its command action points. If, however, you play the card with the opponent's flag, then your opponent will first choose if they will trigger the event first, and most probably will, since the event will be to their favor. After the event is triggered, or not, then you will continue to use the card's command action points, which is your only option. When you use the card's command points, you add that many influence, which is cubes, from your supply on cards on the table. You can only place cubes on cards already having your cubes or on cards adjacent to cards with your cubes. Important, you cannot use chaining placement, so I cannot place one cube here and then another cube here. Also, if any side has 2 more cubes on a card than the other, then that side is controlling the card. If your opponent controls a card, then you need to spend 2 command to place 1 cube there. Example, the US controls Italy. I, as the USSR, have played this card for the 3 command points. In order to place a cube in Italy, I need to spend 2 of my 3 command points. So now I have 1 command point remaining, and now the US player does not control Italy anymore. And if I wanted, I could place another cube by spending just 1 command point. Some events instruct players to infiltrate cubes on cards. When you infiltrate, you disregard the rules of adjacency and control. Last but not least, whenever you need to place a cube but your personal supply is empty, you can take a cube from any card on the table and simply move it to its new location, always following the rules of placement. After the end of the second round, you move to the aftermath phase. In that phase, players reveal the 2 cards that were set aside at the end of the first round and compare the command cubes for each side. The side that has more command cubes gains the difference in points, but remember that there is a max of 3 points that can be awarded in the aftermath. In this example, if these are the aftermath cards, we can see that USSR card depicts 4 cubes while the US card has 2, so the USSR gains 2 points. In another example, we have 2 USA cards in the aftermath with a total of 5 cubes, so the US player gains the max of 3 points. After the aftermath phase, there is final scoring. In final scoring, all regions will be scored in order as it's depicted on the scoring card. So it's Europe first, then the Middle East, then Asia, Africa, Central America, and finally South America. Important, all regions will be scored even if not all their cards were played during the game. After scoring, and unless the game is not already over due to sudden death, the player who has more points wins. If there is a tie, the USSR wins the game. That were all the rules of the game, and you could stop watching this video at this moment. However, I would like to clarify a couple of cards as they might seem confusing. Brazil states that in Cuba, the USSR may remove all US influence cubes and may then infiltrate 2 influence cubes. The 2 infiltration cubes must be placed in Cuba, not anywhere. Similarly, France states that in Iran, US may remove 2 USSR influence cubes and may then infiltrate 1 influence cube. Again, this infiltration cube must be placed in Iran. Finally, we have the Iran card, which states that the USSR may pick up a card with all its influence cubes and place it somewhere else as normal. The card you pick up must still be placed adjacent to another card of the same region if possible. And also, you must avoid creating two separate islands of cards when you remove the card. You cannot even temporarily allow this to happen. So I could not pick up this card even if I would place it here, because I temporarily created two islands. Thank you for watching this video. If you like our videos and want to see more, please subscribe to our channel, and until next time, have fun and play more board games.